Everyone thought she was just the maid. Quiet, invisible, disposable. But when the billionaire Sheikh died suddenly in his sleep, his will shocked the entire kingdom. Because everything, his $100 million fortune, his estate, even his private jet, went to her. And nothing, not even a cent, went to his children. She had been in the palace for 5 years. No one ever asked her name. They called her the help. They laughed when she passed. They threw crumbs on the floor for her to clean up. But Sheikh Khalid al-Mansur saw her. Every morning, she brewed his coffee exactly how he liked it, cardamom, cinnamon, no sugar. Every night, she left mint leaves by his bedside. When he cried alone in his office after another family betrayal, she didn't ask why. She just handed him tea, and stayed. Her name was Amara. She didn't wear diamonds, but she shined in silence. Then, on a quiet Thursday morning, the Sheikh didn't come down for breakfast. By 9 a.m., the palace doctor was called. By 9:13, the words echoed through the marble halls like a funeral bell. He's gone. Heart attack. Peaceful. In his sleep. But what came next was war. The children arrived within hours. Adil, the first son, ruthless, greedy, and CEO of his father's company. Lean, the daughter, spoiled, bitter, and always craving power. And Farid, the estranged son who only returned when money was mentioned. They walked in like vultures. Where's the will? Call the lawyers. I want the keys to the Bugatti. No one noticed Amara standing in the corner, wiping silent tears. Until the Sheikh's lawyer walked in, unfolded a golden scroll, and announced the inheritance. To my beloved daughter Lean, I leave nothing. To my sons Adil and Farid, I leave my forgiveness. And to the woman who stood by me when no one else did, I leave my fortune. All of it. Khalid al-Mansur. Gasps. Screams. Lean fainted. Adil broke a glass. Farid laughed like a madman. Amara stood frozen, whispering, "This must be a mistake." But it wasn't. The lawyer handed her a key, a black envelope, and a private note, handwritten by the Sheikh before his death. "You are the only one who loved me with nothing. So now I give you everything. Please take care of my legacy better than they ever did." And that was the moment. The maid became the most powerful woman in the palace. And the entire family vowed to destroy her. She became the richest woman in the palace overnight. But power doesn't come without enemies, especially when it's taken from blood. They called her a gold digger, a manipulator, a fraud, but inside that black envelope was a truth that would change everything, including who the real heir to the Al-Mansur empire was. The next morning, Amara was nowhere to be found. Rumors swirled. She took the money and ran. She was deported already. No maid could handle that kind of power. But she hadn't run. She was in the Sheikh's private library, the one only 3 people had ever entered. She sat on the same velvet chair where Khalid used to read every night. Tears fell from her eyes as she held the black envelope, her hands trembling. She opened it. Inside, she found a gold locket with a baby photo inside. A hospital birth certificate, from Ghana. A handwritten letter, marked, "To be read only if they turn on you." Amara unfolded the letter. "My children are not the legacy I am proud of. But you gave me a second chance. What they don't know, and what you must never forget, is that you are not just a maid. You are family. You are the sister of my late wife, Aisha." Amara gasped. The Sheikh's beloved first wife, the only woman he ever truly loved, had died in childbirth over 2 decades ago. But no one ever knew she had a sister. Until now. Suddenly, the inheritance made sense. It wasn't an act of lust. It wasn't guilt. It wasn't manipulation. It was a legacy, a promise kept, a bloodline honored, and a woman who was never just the maid. But outside the library, war had begun. Adil was already meeting with palace lawyers, trying to reverse the will. Lean was live streaming, painting Amara as a homewrecker who seduced their father. She tricked an old man into signing everything away. She's a criminal, a liar. The internet took sides. Headlines erupted. African maid inherits Arab fortune, royal family in chaos. Sheikh's death sparks $100 million war over maid's sudden rise. The palace gates were swarmed with paparazzi. Reporters camped outside the estate. And Amara? She remained silent. Until that night, she walked out to the press. Alone. No security. No makeup. No designer clothes. Just a maid, now standing as a matriarch. And she said, "I didn't steal anything. I was chosen, not because of my job, but because of who I am. And soon, the world will know the full truth. But I won't defend myself with words. I'll defend it with proof." They thought calling her a liar would be enough. They thought threatening lawyers and dragging her name through the mud would scare her. But Amara had something they didn't: DNA, a second will, and a letter signed in blood. What they didn't expect was that someone would rather see her dead than exposed. The palace lawyers gave her 7 days. 7 days to dispute the inheritance in court, or lose everything through legal challenge. Adil was already working with private investigators to smear her. Lean had dug up fake documents and edited photos to claim Amara was once a prostitute. Farid stayed quiet, too quiet, watching the war unfold like a chess game. But Amara? She stayed focused. She met with Khalid's personal physician. "I need a DNA test run on this," she said, handing over a sealed swab, her own. And then another. "This one belongs to your late master's biological daughter." The doctor blinked, but Sheikh Khalid had no daughters. Amara stared straight at him. "That's what the world thinks. The truth? Amara wasn't just Aisha's sister. She had raised Aisha's daughter after the Sheikh's enemies threatened the baby's life. To protect her, they sent the girl to Ghana under Amara's name. But the Sheikh knew. He funded her secretly for 18 years. He wrote the second will in private, leaving everything to his granddaughter, through Amara. She had protected his bloodline. Now she would fight for her child's birthright. But someone didn't want that truth to come out. That night, while Amara walked to her car, a black SUV with tinted windows sped toward her in the palace garage. The headlights didn't dim, the engine roared. Amara barely dove out of the way before it slammed into a marble pillar and vanished into the darkness. Falcon, the former royal bodyguard, saw it all on the CCTV. He immediately alerted Amara. "You need protection. They're done playing games." "I don't need protection," she replied. "I need justice." Meanwhile, Farid finally spoke. He visited Amara in private. "You're not the enemy. They are. I've always known Khalid hated what Adil became. And Lean? She's a virus in a velvet dress." Amara didn't trust him, but he handed her something she never expected: a flash drive. This was recorded 2 nights before the Sheikh died. "You'll want to watch it." On the drive was a secret video. Footage of Khalid, pale, coughing, but clear-minded. "If anything happens to me, and this video is shown, let it be known that I leave everything to Amara, the woman who raised my daughter, the woman who kept my secrets, and the only soul who never once asked me for a thing." He looked into the camera. "To my children, you were born from my blood. But Amara? She came from my soul." Amara now had the original will, DNA evidence of Khalid's granddaughter, a deathbed confession on video. But time was running out. Because Adil had filed for an emergency court injunction, claiming mental manipulation, and demanded Amara be arrested for elder abuse. The palace gates were locked. The press swarmed outside, and inside a packed courtroom, the maid who once scrubbed floors was now seated across from the billionaire's heirs, facing criminal charges for manipulation, fraud, and theft. But when she stood up to defend herself, she didn't say a word. Her daughter did. Courtroom cameras rolled. The world was watching. Headlines blazed across international screens. African maid accused of conning Arab billionaire out of his fortune. Will Sheikh's will be overturned? Courtroom bombshell expected today. Adil's lawyer stood tall. "Your Honor, this woman was a maid. She never went to school. She has no legal education, no royal ties. She manipulated a dying man. This was fraud, plain and simple." The crowd murmured in agreement. Even the judge raised an eyebrow. Then Amara's lawyer rose. "May I introduce Layla Khalid Al-Mansur, age 19, daughter of the late Aisha Al-Mansur, the Sheikh's only legal wife." Gasps echoed. A door opened, and in walked Layla. She was tall, poised, dressed in white. And her face? An exact mirror of Aisha, the late Sheikh's beloved wife. Even Lean gasped. "No, it's not possible." Layla walked to the stand with calm fire in her eyes. "My name is Layla. I was born in Ghana. Amara is the only mother I've ever known. But I recently learned my truth. That my biological mother died giving birth to me. That my real father was Sheikh Khalid Al-Mansur." She held up a sealed document. "And this is the court-certified DNA test proving it." Chaos broke out. Lean shouted. Adil tried to walk out. Farid just sat, stunned, defeated. The judge called for order. Amara stood beside Layla, silent, eyes wet with tears. The lawyer then played the deathbed video recording. The courtroom watched as Khalid, frail but clear-headed, said, "If this reaches you, it means they're trying to erase her. Don't let them. Amara is not my maid. She is the guardian of my soul. And Layla is my legacy." The judge slammed the gavel. This court recognizes Layla Khalid al-Mansur as the legal heir of the Sheikh's estate, and finds no evidence of fraud committed by Amara Addo. In fact, the court applauds her integrity. But the drama wasn't over. Just as the court adjourned, a police officer approached Amara and Layla. "You're both under protective custody for now." "Why?" Amara asked. The officer whispered, "Because someone hired a hitman. And the order just went out again." She won the courtroom, she gained the fortune, and she uncovered the truth of her bloodline. But power comes at a price, and for Amara and Layla, the price was now their lives. Because the man who ordered the hit was someone they trusted, and he was closer than they ever imagined. That night, Amara and Layla were moved to a private security estate on the outskirts of Dubai. 2 guards at every door. No calls, no visitors, not even Falcon, the palace bodyguard, knew their exact location. The silence was supposed to be safety, but it felt like a countdown. Layla paced the floor, furious. "I thought it was over, Mama. Why are they still coming for us?" Amara looked at her. "Because they never wanted justice. They wanted the money, and now that you're the heir, they'll try to make you disappear." Back at the Al-Mansur estate, Adil was spiraling. He lost the will, he lost the company, he lost his father's name. But he wasn't the one behind the hit. That order came from someone else. Farid, the quiet one, the peacemaker, the neutral son. He had smiled through the chaos, whispered comforting words to both sides, and now sat alone in his study, watching a live security feed of Amara's safehouse. On his desk sat a stack of documents, offshore bank accounts, a second identity, and a fake will declaring him the Sheikh's only true heir. Meanwhile, Falcon received a call from an anonymous source. "You don't know me, but I'm on the Sheikh's old security team. Tell Amara to leave now." Someone inside the system paid off her guards. Falcon didn't wait. He drove 90 miles per hour across the city, crashing through the gates of the compound. And just in time, because one of the guards was already unlocking the back door, letting in a man dressed as a janitor, carrying a silenced pistol. Falcon tackled the man from behind. The two fought fiercely until Layla screamed. Amara grabbed a metal lamp and slammed it across the attacker's head. Sirens wailed outside. Moments later, he was dragged away. When they searched his phone, they found a deleted message. "Terminate both. Double it, make it look like an accident." Amara collapsed into Falcon's arms. Farid?" He nodded grimly. "He played us all." Layla clenched her fists. "Then it's time to stop running. If he wants the throne that badly, let's see what happens when we give him one last stage." They were done hiding. They were done surviving. It was time to fight back. And the first move? A live broadcast from the Sheikh's private study. They tried to erase her. They tried to kill her. They tried to bury the truth under scandal, shame, and silence. But Amara didn't just survive. She went live, and when the world watched the Maid take the throne, she didn't just expose the truth. She ended an empire. It happened on a Tuesday. Unannounced, unfiltered, across every major news channel in the Middle East and Africa, a breaking broadcast cut through the regular feed. The screen lit up with a gold room, the Sheikh's private study, and there, standing tall in a traditional Ankara gown and headwrap, was Amara. Beside her sat Layla, in white and gold, calm and regal. And behind them, flanked by legal officials and a federal investigator, Falcon. Amara began. "My name is Amara Addo. For years, I was called the Maid, but the man I served called me sister, confidant, and protector. I was entrusted with the most sacred gift a human can carry, his daughter." Layla nodded, eyes shining but steady. "My name is Layla Khalid al-Mansur. I am the only child of Sheikh Khalid and Aisha. I was hidden to be protected. But today, I refuse to be hidden any longer." Then Amara did something no one expected. She held up 2 envelopes. One red, one black. The black envelope was the Sheikh's will. You've seen it, but the red envelope was meant to be opened only if his children betrayed his legacy. She opened it slowly. Inside was a confession, handwritten, signed, and stamped with the royal seal. "To whom it may concern. If this reaches you, it means my children have failed me. I have watched them become everything I never wanted, greedy, vain, cruel. And should they try to destroy Amara, I have authorized the release of every secret I've buried, including Farid's role in embezzling royal funds, Lean's illegal gambling debts, and Adil's bribes to suppress medical research that killed dozens. Let the world judge them. I am finished." Signed, Khalid al-Mansur. Within hours, Interpol issued a warrant for Farid. Adil was detained for financial fraud. Lean fled to Monaco, but Amara? She was offered a permanent seat on the Sheikh's board of directors. She declined. Instead, she took 40 million from her inheritance and founded the Aisha and Amara Foundation, a network of schools and safe houses for young girls across Africa and the Middle East. Layla was named official ambassador to the Royal Heritage Trust. She spoke 5 languages. She was a rising voice for women's rights. And she never forgot the woman who raised her. On the 1-year memorial of Sheikh Khalid's death, a statue was unveiled outside the Al Mansur estate, not of the Sheikh, but of Amara, a bronze figure holding a child on her back and a broom in her hand, symbolizing service, strength, and revolution. At the base, it read, "She entered through the back door and left through the front, with the keys."